hit the wrong one. All right. Well, it's your boy JB in a place to be. And today I have my good friend David Wilson here. He's the founder of BlackBoard Solar. And he's gonna share his thoughts with us. He's gonna share his story.
Good to be here, Justin. It's been a long time. We've known each other for a couple decades, I guess. It's been a long
Almost.
time. Yeah, long time.
Almost.
So
Like
thank you for having me on this program to highlight BlackBoard Solar company and their innovation. And I was really excited to be here. Thanks a lot.
Hey man, it's my pleasure. So we initially got started, right? Like how long have we been friends?
I think I met you back in like 2008 working at the New York Stock Exchange at the data center located on Cermak. And I've known you since 2008.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think it was the biggest like at the time it was like the largest data center in the world. I think the stats I recall is like 70% of the internet traffic was flowing into the country all through this one building and then, flowing out from it.
Yeah, I think at the time that we worked there, we had about 5,000 devices there. We had 2 data centers. And from what I remember, Google and Facebook all had representation there, along with a host of other trading firms that were located in that building. So when you think of trading, you may think of the floor trading, but trading is actually done in a data center that's, off the beaten track of most places, which you would never think of.
Oh yeah. So I think at the time I was a smart hands tech as well as a rent-a-cop, a security guard, and at the time, like you worked on servers and whatnot, right?
Right.
And
So
VMware, correct?
yeah, what we did is that we had various data centers in the Chicagoland area. We migrated a data center from New York or New Jersey, Weehawken, and we maintained it. We had a 24-hour staff there that provided hot hand support, for our critical infrastructure.
Yeah. So in between that time, clearly you've been on numerous adventures and whatnot. But
That's
what
right.
brings you here today was you came up with a device, man. You came up with this backpack. I actually used it, and like I'm not here to shill like everybody else does. I actually saw value in the product itself.
Right, you actually did a program about a year ago, I do believe, where you actually did a product review, and it was pretty. We really want to hear the bad stuff about our product, so we know where we can go in terms of fixing the problems, enhancing the product, so that it puts us in a better light in the marketplace. But it has taken a long time, and so when we look at products or ideas that has come about, my ordeal or my path was a little bit different. While working at the New York Stock Exchange, I'm not sure if you knew this, is that while I worked at the New York Stock Exchange, this was back in 2005, 2006, I get a phone call from my mom talking about my dad's Alzheimer's, the health of my father, and it was deteriorating at the time. And so my mom instructed me to give my brother a call, let him know what's going on. So my brother at the time was in the military working in Iraq. So when I tried to call him, he could never pick his phone up, or he was never available. When he would return my call, he would tell me that he had no power for his cell phone. And so in the back of my mind, I'm like, how could you be with the military and not having power?
Right.
And in the back of my mind, it was a problem. And so when you think of products or innovations, there's always somebody trying to solve a problem. In the back of my mind, that was a problem. And so I worked at the New York Stock Exchange while working there, I landed a role at another firm as a manager. And while I was at this other trading firm, I had a project to come up with features and benefits that we were infringing on someone's patent.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my job, was to come up with features and benefits that could protect the firm, that it will not allow us to be exposed to any types of lawsuits. And so with the problem that I had at the New York Stock Exchange and at the new firm, I said to myself, and like, I can apply what I learned to myself. And so I started a journey on looking for products that was already in the marketplace. And I was looking at adding the feature that I was looking at a product that was existing, and what can I do to improve that product? And with my brother in the military, I came up with a backpack. And at the time in 2007, 2008, there were backpacks in the marketplace that had solar panels connected. But I came up with a product that allowed a detachable solar panel. So it was a detachable kit. And so I can quickly show you. And so when you look at my backpack, when you look at my backpack, it looks like any JanSport.
Is that the one I had?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you look at any backpack, it looks like a normal backpack.
Clearly.
So what I wanted to do is make it look like a normal backpack. So when you think of solar, it looks like something in another realm where people haven't embraced it. But when you look at the capabilities behind the solar, it allows you to kind of marinate a technology with your current lifestyle. So when you look at this backpack, it looks like a normal backpack. So what we did is that we concealed the panel.
Oh.
We concealed it, and your viewers can see it. That I said that it's detachable. So when you detach it, you have a solar kit that is totally detachable. You can sit in your tree, you can put in your tent, you can sit in your dashboard, so that you don't have to carry your backpack everywhere. Mm-hmm. So this made my product different in the marketplace. And one of the other things is that what was patented is that we have a clear connection, a clear panel, so that you don't have to remove it. So those are the things that separate my product from others in the solar backpack space, is that it's concealed and is detachable. And so we wanted to be able to come out in the marketplace and show the differentiation. Furthermore, it did not happen overnight. I filed for the patent in 2009. It took 4 years, lots of resources, and I self-funded this project from day one, no outside investor money, because there's a price to pay with taking outsider funding. You know, you lose your vision, you lose your ownership. Mm-hmm. And so with me being able to self-fund my project, it put us through a lot of hardship. I'm not gonna lie. We went through a foreclosure, through this whole period, not just from doing this, but from the changes of my employment, trying to keep this business afloat during that period of time. But when I did get the patent, let me say it this way: when I got the patent, it wasn't without a struggle. I had a patent attorney that actually quit in the middle of the filing, and I was faced of going back to the beginning when I did not realize it was. It felt like a hurdle, that all the things I poured into this patent attorney, I had to start from scratch. But little did I know the law firm actually transferred my project to another attorney at that law firm, and this person actually worked at the patent and trademark office, and so he was able to pick the phone up, call his former colleague, and he was able to tell exactly what we need to do to get the patent, and within 4 months I was issued a patent. Couldn't believe it.
Very nice.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, and after getting that, the first thing I was thinking about just licensing, and I made a call to Under Armour, because Under Armour at the time is a very aggressive company. They started out with this skin tight, athletic shirt back in the 90s. They had some pretty aggressive commercials, and I went straight to Under Armour and spoke with the guy, and he gave me his innovation person at his firm, and I'm gonna tell you, it went nowhere. And so that was back in 2013, 2014. But so the journey wasn't as linear that one would think. It took a lot of turns, lots of highs and lows, even to be at this point in time in 2023 having the patent for 10 years, but the market wasn't ready.
That's so you've gone over numerous hurdles, right? You've been through the patent process. I know a lot of us, we think it's so easy to patent, something, but something as minute as the diagram not being accurate, or somebody having a design that's too similar to yours, that can really throw a monkey wrench into the works. And you've overcome all of those, and as I understand it, you sold quite a few of these already.
Right, absolutely.
Even though things didn't go accordingly with Under Armour, right? Like you sold like quite a few, right?
Yeah, our sales are definitely picking up, and it wasn't initially where it was. What we had to go through at BlackBoard Solar, it wasn't BlackBoard Solar. It was SE System at first.
Mm-hmm.
When I had SE Systems, I thought I was the smartest person in the room, meaning that if I got my patent and I owned it 100% myself, what I tried to do is leverage consultants for projects in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
If I needed a marketing guy, if I needed an attorney, if I needed somebody on my team, I just hired them out directly,
mm-hmm.
and for them to do projects on their own. What I did is that one of my resources that I hired, it didn't work out as well as I planned on it, but it exposed my philosophy in business, where I allowed to fail, but it allowed me to put a team together that was focused not on just myself, but was focused on the asset, the business, and put a whole infrastructure around having a really solid foundation for a company.
Right.
So we have, I have had to bring in partners in, so that the partners can own a piece of the business that have expertise where I did not have.
So you had to put your team together.
Absolutely.
You had to go out and find competent people, because what good is a business, right? What good is being an entrepreneur if you're doing all the work, right? The whole objective is to delegate, right? Delegate so you can go and play Call of Duty, like the rest of us, or maybe just go golf.
Well, that's kind of like what people would think, but for myself, I always like to have a hands-on approach. I have to kind of release some of those tendencies to people that had the interest in the company. At the end of the day, the buck stops with me.
Mm-hmm.
But but having a support structure that allowed the company to put us in a position to win. At the beginning in 2013, 2014, going after licensing, it may have been a very easy juncture, but I had to go through some downturns just to know where I'm at today, so that we're in a better position in terms of global sales. We have manufacturing in China, we have manufacturing in Guatemala, whereas before we did not have all those relationships in place.
Now, okay, so you mentioned China, Guatemala. I imagine there's other there's other countries, right? That makes me that it makes me wonder, right? Like what interest could other countries have in your product? Now, that makes me think, like, the initial genesis of your design. Like, what made you want to create this thing in the first place? Like, you want to share that?
So what made me come up with the design in the first place, because I said, who wants to carry a backpack everywhere? That's why it's detachable, and why is it concealed? It's concealed because you don't want to bring a whole bunch of eyes to your technology, so it looks like a normal backpack. But in the times of when there are going to be times when power could be not readily available, this could be a very people will want to get their hands on something like this when they don't have the ability to create their own power.
Well, if the power's out, like, they can't get it anyway, right? You got to order these things.
I have a great example. One of my early supporters of this back in 2015-16, there was a major snowstorm that hit Houston, and it was a snowstorm where they've never had a situation that was so bad that the power got knocked out to a large majority of homes in Houston. He would tell me that it wasn't for my backpack. Him and his wife would have been screwed, because they had no way to communicate in the outside world, and they're a prime example why this is in place. And furthermore, regards to the consultant that I had utilized that didn't work well, we were working on a deal with an insurance company for a sizable contract that would allow insurance companies to put their logo on my bag and give it to their customers when there's an emergency. So we have this insurance company coming into a person's home that has lost everything, and you're handing them a backpack that is providing power for their mobile devices so that they can keep in contact. And, with not just giving a backpack, you're giving them the backpack with water and some food or things of that nature. Not just a backpack, but you're giving them something that can sustain them after they lost their home in some type of catastrophic event, like a tornado or earthquake or hurricane. So, which is one of our business models of targeting insurance companies for that very fact, going after disaster recovery, places that have a high percentage of damage, coastal region, Florida, North and South Carolina, areas like that has a high probability of being hit by some type of hurricane or some type of catastrophic event.
So this sort of, like, your backpack, man, it looks very inconspicuous, right? It looks like it looks like, can I see the commuter bag? You want to show that one?
So the commuter bag is handcrafted leather.
Is it Corinthian leather?
It's not Corinthian leather, but it is very high quality leather. Here,
There we go.
And so that particular bag, it's good. Will be targeting like your professionals. Instead of just having a normal backpack, you're having a leather. You can tell the difference. It's high quality product.
Yeah, it's
well put together.
It's sturdy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I see the thick zipper.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that ain't gonna get. It's not gonna come off the rails quick.
Mm-hmm.
Thick padding. What's that? Like a jean interior?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whoa. I thought I broke it just now. Buttons, very sturdy.
So with that being said, that particular product is going for people that loves a backpack and will spend their resources on something that has a higher value, that doesn't look just like a college type of backpack. And with the other ones we do provide that, for the college kid and the high school kids market, so and this is coming out of our Guatemala manufacturing partner, and so there's more to come. I mean, we have more such styles that's on deck that will allow us to compete with others in the marketplace.
Yeah. It even felt different. It's like the adult version of the one you let me borrow.
Right.
I'm kind of beside myself that.
We call this the progenitor. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of something great in the marketplace, and from all this will stem other variations with this model.
So you let me borrow the prototype.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hey, we've been going at this for a little bit. I want to share this game. The game I told you about that, other people, we're going to play the game called Expendables of my own design, right? And this wheel's going to spin. Where is it? Yeah, as soon as it shows up. Yeah, so this wheel's going to spin, right? And wherever it lands, we're going to basically just what occupation in there can be replaced by automation and AI. And I figured this would be a great game to try it out on you because you're familiar with automation and you've been in business, you've been in sales, you've been in IT, you've had many roles, right? You're knowledgeable about so many things, right? So this may be a good game for you.
Okay.
All right. It's gonna be a fun one for me. Okay. All right. I'm gonna spend it. Here we go. That's me logo right there. That may be a bad spin, right? Because that implies like politicians and lawmakers.
Well, from our standpoint, from a legislative standpoint, what's a big problem in our society right now? Kids are coming up missing.
Mm-hmm.
You can add features that can actually help enhance, reduce issues like this. We can actually put tracking devices in our backpack. We can put cameras, things of that nature, and we can go to the legislative branch to make this as a standardized feature on school equipment.
Oh my goodness, man! I hadn't thought about that. Right? Because batteries typically wear out, right? Well, who's to say that you can add like a tracking device, right? Some sort of GPS sensor. I'm not familiar with the battery life on those. Maybe I'm not familiar with the battery.
But as long as the backpack is getting some type of power and having some type of technology that actually is connected to some like low level tech GPS that will give out some type of signal that will allow you to know where your loved ones are.
Yeah, know where your kids are.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be in school and whatnot. But yeah, man.
And so you can actually go down the path of creating software that can support this. You can have some certain alerts if you put some type of distance outside a distance where this tracking goes, you can get an alert on your phone, like, wow, this something's going on right then and there.
That's what's up, man.
And so that can be legislative.
Yeah, but like what? All right, I'm gonna do another spin.
Okay.
Do another spin. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Big money. Law enforcement. Man, these are landing too good for you.
Well, with law enforcement, that goes with the municipalities. So municipalities will have the ability to come to BlackBoard Solar and to have an option for when there is some type of natural disaster, an emergency. You know, we had issues with George Floyd. We have issues with potential issues with this conflict that's going on overseas. Municipality infrastructure could be at risk, and a solution like this could be something that can be given out to the policemen and the firemen just in the time of emergency. And they can use this to go door to door and give this to people that if you're an elderly person, people with special needs, some type of medical, you can give this to people that put them potentially at the top of the list when there is an emergency or problem. They can be in communication with those people.
Right. So, like we've like clearly there's many of applications for this thing, right? But on the flip side, like in law enforcement, like in order to streamline law enforcement, to make it more efficient, more beneficial, more impactful, rather than just sweet words and good gestures, kind gestures. Like, what part of law enforcement do you think can be reduced, or what part of law enforcement do you think can be reduced or even removed to make it even better?
I'm not sure if it can be removed or any better, but you look at their uniforms. If they have some of their jackets, maybe they can have the detachable solar kit that's detached from their backpack, that's attached within their clothing, and so that they don't have to wait for an emergency. They always have power in any situation. So it would just be an upgrade to what they currently have, or something that you can add to their current uniform setup.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna do one more, and then we're gonna get back to it. We're gonna get back to the great men that we've become. All right, here we go. Damn it, man. All right, so business. Like, is there any, like, when I think of an expendable person in business, and I think that a salesperson could largely become expendable in this day and age. We got AI that can basically sell anything at this point. Everything's algorithm driven. Hell, man, even so many parts, so many machines, devices these days, they're all automated.
One of our business silos is promotional products. So if you have a brand out there and you're looking at increasing your brand awareness, you could utilize our product and put your name on it. And then when you're going through an airport or when you're traveling, you will see our innovation and you'll see that brand. And people would ask, where did you get that from? And they're going to notice their brand. You're from let's say CarMax or Anheuser-Busch or companies like that. They have the marketing dollars. They can actually continue to get their brand awareness out there. For example, you turn the television on, how many times you're going to see a McDonald's commercial? They still, it's there, but they do not take their foot off the gas in terms of letting people know that they're still pushing their brand in the minds of their potential targets. So if you're looking at trying to increase your brand awareness and you don't want to just have some regular throwaway, this is a higher valued product that you can actually leverage technology, you're leveraging something that's current with your brand, and so people will not just throw it in their, throw it on a shelf in their home. They'll actually utilize this product as something of value.
Now, getting back to our history and whatnot, you have a relative in the service, right? And that's the reason why you came up with this whole thing.
Oh yeah. So as I mentioned before, my brother was in Iraq. He did not have adequate power, and that drove me down the avenue of creating this product. And even before the backpack, I've done other things at a much lower level. After the LA riots, I did a watch line called Peace Watch.
What?
Yes, I did.
It was a watch with a peace symbol?
No, it wasn't that. It was just a black and white watch face, and my hometown newspaper did it, and that was long before the internet. That was like early 90s.
A peace watch.
I did another product where it turned your family car into a student driver car.
What?
So yeah, I used to rent this sign out. So I found a company that now you can see these signs everywhere. This was in the 90s, early 2000. I found a company that sold these signs, and it was a magnet magnetized to the roof of your car. And so I was selling these or renting these to families that had kids learning how to drive. So in the state of Illinois, they had to have, let's say at the time, it was like 50 hours of family driving in the state of Illinois. So at this time of day, at like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, it's dark. This thing actually illuminates your car, and it made your family car turn into a student driver car.
I'm sorry. What's the difference between a family car and a student driver car?
Well, the family car,
besides the bumper sticker,
you can't see the bumper sticker. This was a sign that was 2 feet by a foot, and it sat on the roof of the car, and it said student driver with the light configured so that everybody knows this was a student driver car.
Would it come off of the cigarette lighter, or was it attached to the battery?
Right through the cigarette lighter.
So it was removable then?
Yeah, it's magnetized. So when your kid was learning how to drive, you put it on top of the roof and you let them train. You take the thing off, put it in your trunk, and it turned into a family car again.
Man, when I think of that, I think of my youth, right? And I think of how, there's this car, this huge illuminated target that's just itching to receive rocks and eggs.
Right.
That's just me though. But, I think it would make, parents so much more, at least a little bit more comfortable, knowing that there's increased awareness for the kid out there.
Yeah, not only that, it was proven, but when you would see a student driver car, and if you know it's a student driver car, people would tend to give that person a wide berth.
Oh yeah.
But now with it being illuminated, you can see it illuminated from many blocks away. You brought more attention and gave more confidence to the student driver.
So how many of those did you sell?
I didn't sell them. I leased them.
What? How much? How was business?
So it was like
it's a good move
at the time, because after they got their hours and they got their driver's license, they didn't need the sign anymore, and so it was just leased and going to the next family.
Look at that. Mm-hmm. I tell you what, man, that's better than eyelashes and lip gloss.
So and that was another product that I did. I did file an additional patent after I filed my backpack. I did another patent that was I did a provisional patent, and I got the patent number, but I pulled back and I wanted to stay focused on one. And this was called, I called it Securities Warehouse. It was from top to bottom. It was it was designed to utilize technology. Um, Let me say it this way. I did not know this idea was all about cash, uninvested cash.
Okay.
So when one of my jobs, I was a portfolio manager for Chicago Money Manager, and my colleague I worked with, we always had a problem when the markets were closed and end of day processing was happening on each trading account. When was that cash realized?
Right.
Because the next morning we would call various brokerage firms on these accounts, and they would tell us if they had an excess cash or they need us to provide cash for their margin requirements. And so if we're walking in the office at 7 o'clock in the morning and there's cash sitting there, when was it realized the day before? And so my whole idea was to be able to take, through automation, is to take when the cash is realized overnight, that cash would turn into an electronic message. And that electronic message would go to an exchange.
Now, just so that we're clear, and whoever else could be watching, this cash that you say is just sitting there. You're not talking about like physical cash just sitting on the desk. You're talking about digital cash still on the books.
Yeah, digital cash that is realized, and that cash can be turned into an electronic message that can be sent to an account overseas and put to use immediately instead of waiting till the next morning. So my whole idea was a time-scaled investment program. Not, if you know anything about investment, it's usually your principal times your interest divided by 365 days. And that's going to get you your interest per year. And you take that per year, the interest per day times 30, that gets your interest per month. But mine was going down to the per second basis.
Jeez. Very nice.
And so at the time the money left your account, the timer was set so that when the investment was over the next morning, it was kind of like an intraday repo product. And that a repo is a repurchase repo. So, yeah, it was pretty complex, and it had opportunities to patent different protocols to communicate this whole infrastructure. Had the whole thing drawn up.
So you're like, I hate the fact that I say like, right? I think that there's so many more words to use. I don't like using more and like, but they just roll on. So we have this, right? In your experience, like with the job market the way it is, right? You having experience, starting your own business, multiple businesses, from what you told us. You've had many roles, up until now. With the job market the way it is, like here in Chicago, for instance, right? We have the immigrant issue. We also have an employment issue. We also have corrupt officials, right? Where money can go over here, but not over there. And it has to stay over here, but never go there. Seeing as how the job market is the way it is, like if you could speak to like a younger person, like a young man, I don't know, like a Pookie or Ray Ray, some young whippersnapper out there, like what advice could you give him?
That's a really good question. From my position in the financial markets, I've touched every aspect of the financial market, so that I started on the floor at New York's at the Board of Trade running and clerking on the floor. Everything I've done in my so-called professional career was always in finance, and I've been trying to get out of the finance, but it was not meant to leave because I've been gainfully employed in that market. So if you're in Chicago and you're in a financial capital, a financial trading center.
Oh no, the regular Pookie Ray Ray, he's gonna be I don't know, coming out of Chicago State. Nope, coming out of Kennedy King, right? Took a few courses, wants to get his stuff together. How best would he be able to get started? Like, what would be a great starting point for him?
I would follow something in IT, and something that you can leverage with IT in the financial markets.
Why financial?
Because if you're in Chicago, New York, and trading it's all about, what's trading. You're trading grains, you're trading bonds, you're trading currency, you're trading all different gold, metals. I mean, there's so much that can be traded, and for where I'm trading, I work for a firm right now that we do derivatives trading. So we do very exotic trades that is at another level of trading, not just your stocks and bonds, your commodity. We do what they call a derivative interest rate derivative swaps, and that's like a whole nother level. And that's a whole nother class, but it's very complicated.
Interesting. Hey, two things. We got a local celebrity here. Well, not local, international celebrity. Gail at Night. She blessed the channel with $4. Really appreciate it. Gail, you're awesome. But we also have a question. How do you change an idea into a patent license?
Well, if you believe that you have a good idea, you can go to the USPTO website, and there's an application called a provisional patent. And a provisional patent, if you're not a corporation and you're just starting out, you will be considered a micro corporation, a very small entity. You can go and fill out this application for like $60, $70, whatever it is, and you can just fill in your information. Here's my idea. You can write it in. You can handwrite it. You can attach your idea. And you can mail it or email it to the Patent and Trademark Office.
I can remember us talking on the first floor at the data center. Or was it? It was on the fourth floor, right? It was on the fourth floor. You broke it all down, man. That seems like it was so far away.
Well,
years ago.
That's what I would suggest. And once you do that legwork, it doesn't cost much, but it will show you the authenticity of your idea. Do you want to go through with it? A lot of people do a lot of talking. This is a very easy aspect of doing it. Once you get a return from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, they're going to give you a provisional patent number. So once you get that number, you can actually take your idea and you can start selling it with your patent pending.
Isn't it like a 2-year time limit?
Just 1 year time limit. But the cool thing about it is that if you have an idea and you have it today, somebody else may have the same idea. So at the end of the day, it's going to be who has the first date. Who's going to have. So if you hesitate on your date or filling the application and then somebody else sends it in a week, 2 weeks before, they're going to have the right to it. So my suggestion is always get something in the mail or get it to the Patent and Trademark as soon as possible.
Get started, right?
Get started.
And
then once you get your number, you can actually put some type of prototype together. You can start selling it, or you can just put your prototype together and say to validate your idea, and then you go to a patent and trademark attorney to file your patent and let them do all the legwork. And that's exactly what I did.
Interesting. So like some young kid, right, on the street, right? Some young punk out there trying to get himself situated, right? He doesn't necessarily have kids. He doesn't necessarily have money, but he's only got a handful of options, right? He can either hit the job market early, right? That typically nowadays, let's go work for Amazon, go work for a grocery store, or even hop into fast food, right? I think you would agree, like all those jobs are only going in a certain direction, and it ain't beneficial to a few people, to a lot of people, right? A lot of people are getting squeezed out of
even
it.
for jobs like working at a fast food restaurant, if you're hungry enough, you can work 2 jobs. You can work a job in the morning and you can run a job at night. You got to be able to it's not going to be easy, and I think everybody wants to have it so it's an easy path. If you didn't apply yourself in high school and didn't go to college, it's going to be a tougher road, but it can still be achieved. When I started working at American National Bank, that was in 91, I literally took a job working for Osco's. I think Jewel Osco. They were like kind of like a convenience store. They wasn't attached to a grocery store, but it was a Osco setup. So I would work 8 to 5 at American National Bank. I would come home and sleep for a couple hours, and I would work from 10 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning, and take a shower and go to work and do that cycle. I did that to prove that I can do it.
That's what's up, man. I advise my kids the same thing. Like my oldest son, he says he wants to take over the rap game, right? And I told him, hey, that's all fine and dandy, but why not pursue that as a hobby, as well as get yourself established, right? Use it as a hobby, and then when the time comes and your skill is grown, then you can dedicate more of your resources and time in that direction, right? That's not to throw shade at wanting to become an entertainer, but it's more so getting your priorities in order.
And that's the whole thing, is that especially for our young people, the images that we get on that's fed to our young people, they feed us limited opportunity. There's only a number of people that can go into the rap or athletics. There are a number of positions, and once those positions are filled, you're going to be somebody's always trying to take your position. If you want to be an attorney, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to go into IT, it's 100% that it can happen. 100%. And what's going to happen? You have to apply yourself. It may take you 3 times to take an exam. It may take you 4. But if you apply yourself, it will get done. It's 100% guaranteed.
Yeah.
But if you don't, it's not. Just like if you don't have the athletic ability to run or hit a baseball, it's not going to happen. But your mind is something that is unlimited. You may need to read the material 3, 4, 5 times to get it versus someone else. But if you just do what you can do, you will actually achieve that goal.
Now, like I was saying in the past, man, this surely wasn't like smooth sailing, right? You suffered so many losses, right? You've things have fallen apart, things have broken down, but you just kept going, right?
For me, it's all about balance. I didn't put all my eggs in one basket. I always did a little bit of work on the business my professional life, home life, what all those things that come in my path, I don't. I try to have as much balance as I possibly can. But you got to have a vision to what you're trying to achieve. My vision is to, gain market share here in the U.S., but to be able to get my product into the continent of Africa. Because if you look at the countries there, the imageries of the countries is not well developed, and that's all by design. But they all and the young folks have cell phones. My oldest went to Valparaiso, and this was back in 2010. He told me something that was profound. He said, this professor said, the biggest problem that United States has is with young people getting cell phones in Africa.
Why is that a problem for the U.S.?
Because once those cell phones got out there, they got information that wasn't there available, and it changed their whole. You see, Africa,
it changed the power dynamic,
changing, and the young people are rising up. And he said this back in 2010. And but at the time, it was like, why would he say that? But they put themselves in position of controlling the narrative on a whole continent. And if you look at the infrastructure of places in Africa, that's what I like to get my product there, because the product will be perfect for the youth. They have their phones and they're mobile, and they're the future. And so I believe that if we can get the product into like Uganda, like a central hub that can get the product through the whole continent, similar to how they do with Federal Express, being Memphis being the hub of Federal Express. A place like Uganda could be like similar mock-up, get through the whole continent.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely interesting. Perhaps maybe one day I'll reach out to like Mr. Beast. He's like, I think like 100 wells he just put in over there, just out of his own pocket, man. Maybe he'd probably, reach out to you. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know him. I've seen him. I don't know him. But I know definitely I'll reach out to like Phil. Yeah, I'll reach out to him. We'll see if he answers the email.
Right.
Phil's got pulled, man. We'll see what happens.
Right.
Unbeats a failure, but the try.
And this is great to be on a platform like this, and I'm sure that's just the first of many. And we're going to continue to strive to make a better product, and to continue to let our people know that there's innovation that's coming from our community, not just from a sports or an entertainment standpoint, from a technology standpoint. Technology can actually change the makeup of neighborhoods and jobs and things of that nature that can really help people. Not pushing a job standpoint, but the fact is that we have a tendency in working pretty low level jobs, and this allows us to come up with our creative juices in a company like BlackBoard Solar.
I'm thinking just now, like with a backpack such as this, or any device similar to this. I'm thinking of an image. Like so many years ago, there was this kid. And he just lives in he lived in a part of Africa. This kid made glasses. He made glasses out of scrap wood that he found. And I thought it was just so creative. There was another kid made like a motorcycle, I think, a bicycle, just out of junk. And, I think like now, what if he would have had something like this, right? Plenty of those guys have phones now. What if they had just a bit more?
Right. Absolutely.
Just a bit more. Something that they can carry around.
We would love to fill that gap. Absolutely.
It's a great idea. It certainly is. Hey, you want to play the game one last time?
Sure. Let's go.
All right. Okay, let's see. All right. Here we go. Well, clearly, folks appreciate your vision, man. I wish I could say that right. Trip to the world ends, they appreciate your vision. Hey, you're brilliant, man. All right, here we go. One last time. See what happens. All right, either this thing's broken or it landed on finance like twice now. Let's try it again. Let's see what happens. All right, maybe I should, you know what? I'm gonna just remove it. Let's see what happens. Trades. Now, trades. Like when I put trades on here, it was more so not just like the stock market and whatnot. It was more so like trade occupations, such as plumbers, carpenters, linemen, mechanics, right? Like, how do you think your product could actually benefit these guys, or is there something like a trade that can be like removed from besides unions, or maybe unions?
Absolutely. I've touched upon on innovation that can actually come with power, and things I probably don't want to like really discuss, but from a trade standpoint, I believe that there's ways of actually taking people totally off the grid.
In like a prepper situation?
No, I'm just talking about even in whole communities.
What do you mean take them off the grid?
They produce their own power at their homes.
You know, I worked at a shop, right? I don't want to say which one, but I will say it was on Western.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It was near 63rd Street, and I knew a mechanic. I wish I could say his name. I won't. You know, he was a fantastic person, man. And when he moved on from the shop, he actually started his own business, right? He's still a mechanic, but he did it out of a van, right? And I thought it was so bootleg. But now that I'm older, man, I see that, you know, he cut out the middleman. There was nearly no overhead. He had already paid for the van. He had his tools from the shop. He had all of his experience. And all he needed was, you know, the backup generator for the air compressor, additional power for his, what do you call it? Back power for his batteries, right? For his cordless tools and whatnot. And I was thinking, like, something like this, we don't see that so much more these days. The youth these days, everything's digital, right? From beat machines to no one actually creating art with a paintbrush. You see a person paint, that's like so rare. Right. Something like this, man. Do you think it could be configured to, you know, supply power to like a small laptop? Surely it can power a tablet.
Oh, absolutely, because it's all about the size of the panel, and we can actually create innovation behind like a map or a folded panel that can actually give you more surface space
without having to take the panel off. Because I'm looking at it again, and it looks like there's only so much real estate on there.
It's so much. I think that's going to be more in technology that's going to be created in that whole solar space as well. So we're still at the early stages. But going back to your idea of the gentleman in this van and so forth, if you look, there's a gentleman called Moses West. He has like this thing called a water machine, and he pulls water out of the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And similar to his device, it does.
He pulls moisture out of the atmosphere, condenses it,
and he provides fresh water. He has machines like in Michigan. The military uses it and so forth. So when you look at the solar and you look at that power space, there are abilities to actually utilize technology like the water and with solar to actually provide homes the ability to really be off the grid in so many ways.
Interesting.
So you have to think beyond what's in front of you, because what they put before you is with the systems that are in place want you to have. You know, they will use dumb technology just to get a buck out of you, but not thinking about really innovating things that actually help societies develop.
So it's more so like don't just think about the the product as is. Think about, this is the product, how can we evolve it, how can it benefit other people, because sometimes there is no market, right? Sometimes you have to create the market.
Absolutely. And so with that being said, and you're looking at we have a construct that's already in place. That's the only place that's only how we've been given. But once you start thinking out, you will challenge that construct, and that's where the pushbacks would be. So it all comes down to vision. Like Chicago has a problem with every year they talk about highway construction. I always think that is the blue collars welfare, because they don't think how to fix these highways so that they can actually improve something that's, it's a problem already, with the way they fix roads. They can actually fix something that doesn't have to have the wear and tear, so that it gives these resources ability to make a living when they haven't even tried to fix the problem. If you have the same problem, the incidents over and over again, but they haven't put a long-term solution that fix that problem.
Well, and that job stability?
It is job stability, but it doesn't really show any improvement. You can actually think of other ways to fix it, but if you're not having the vision to fix it, it's going to be the same thing over and over again. 2 seasons, winter and traffic. They don't think past that.
They don't.
So you would actually you accept that, but you haven't fixed any problems.
Right. Well, hey man, that's gonna do it.
Justin, I just want to thank you for allowing myself to come on your show, BlackBoard Solar. Hope your guests will check us out. BlackBoardSolar.com. We're readily available on Amazon, and you can find our link to our Amazon account on our website. And just keep an eye out on some of the things that we're doing. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on LinkedIn, and just kind of keep an eye on our growth and the things that we're trying to do in the marketplace. And if you have any ideas or anything like that, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, man. Thank you guys for showing up. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. Feel free to check out the channel. Well, I'm sorry, check out his package, the backpack. Reach out to him on Facebook. Links are in the description, also in the comment section. We might do another one, just in case people want to ask you questions. If you feel like you have questions you want to ask, not just about like how, about the product, but about his experience. Maybe he can share his experience with you, help you get your product to market. I know there's a lot of scammers out there. There's a lot of people, just giving you bad promises and whatnot. But here we have a guy, he's proven, vetted by myself. I've known him for 15 years. I had a full head of hair when it happened, and it was all black. I think you had same thing, man. And he's a credible person. So drop a like leave a comment if you would like for that to happen. Other than that, you guys take care. Have a nice night. Stay safe, stay well.
Thank you.
Peace.